3 up, 2 across, tap that play button 3 times, and walk through the archway into Dialogue Alley. Hello, and welcome to Dialogue Alley, a podcast about Harry Potter books, book translations, and all other things magical. I'm Erik.
I'm Carly.
And I'm Melanie.
And the 3 of us are Harry Potter book translation collectors, and we're so glad that you have joined us on this episode 34 of Season 3 of Dialogue Alley.
Whoa.
We are so excited to be here, and we are even more excited that Carly is here.
I am here. Yay, it's me.
Yay, you, because you're back. You're back from an excursion. It's almost like an Indiana Jones-esque adventure quest
It kind
to
of
recover stolen treasure, but it wasn't stolen, but it's
The
your
lost
treasure.
the lost,
The lost
treasure of me.
and to transport that treasure back to your home base.
Yes.
Yes, and we're going to talk more about that. That's actually ties into what our main segment for this episode is. So we'll hear more from Carly about that. But in the meantime, if you're wondering who we are, because this is your first time here, first off, welcome. We're glad you're here. Secondly, we are all Harry Potter book translation collectors, and we collect Harry Potter books from all the countries. Like, you name it, we probably have one.
Yep.
And they're fun. Or I like doing this. I have one from...
The Philippines.
I'd say Belarus. Philippines. That's a good one.
Israel.
Yeah, that's a good
Israel's
one.
good.
France.
Serbia.
Yeah.
Montenegro.
Bosnia.
Norway.
Japan.
Denmark.
Finland.
Taiwan.
Spain.
So many from Spain. We have a whole episode
I
just
know.
about that.
Australia. We do. I wonder how long we could do this before we repeated or ran out of...
We're not going to...
Oh.
Well, there's almost 100, so I feel like it's going to take us a while to run out. But then that goes into, there's almost 100, but there's not that many countries because countries like Spain, we were talking about this in our pre-show before, like how many languages, and that's just a rabbit hole that I get lost down.
Well, and it's
all
such a
the time.
fuzzy one. Like, it depends on how you categorize things, and it's such a fuzzy boundary anyway, languages.
Right.
You
do you
wouldn't think it
count-
would be, but it actually is.
Like books like Turkish, do you count that twice? I mean, it's one language, Turkish, but do you count it
There
twice
are
because
two
it was
different text blocks.
retranslated? Right. Or like Portuguese,
But it's one
Brazilian
language with
Portuguese
two
and European Portuguese are
Right,
two, in my
that's-
head, I feel like two completely different languages.
And it's two completely different translators, publishers, cover art, depending with some of the titles are different.
Crazy.
So
many countries and
it's a fuzzy
languages.
boundary.
These are the things we talk about in our
versus
free time.
Montenegro versus
Serbian.
yeah,
Serbia. I know. We could go on and on, but you likely don't want to hear us going on and on about that, so we will not go on and on about that. But we will talk about some other things on today's episode. We have a little bit of news. Part of our news is also going to be directly tied to our main segment, and as always, we will talk about one book in depth during our translation of the show section, which Carly might have with her.
Somewhere.
Just kidding. Well, it's with you, but maybe not with you. But it's closer to you than ever before.
it is. It's in the same house. Where
That
I don't
counts
know,
for something.
but it's here.
It is. So, let's get started with some news, I guess.
I mean, I have the tiniest little drop of news, but it's not even really news. It's more that I couldn't wait to talk to Erik about the fact that I booked a Disney trip.
Whoa. To which one?
Well, Orlando.
Oh, okay.
Disney World. So
Yes.
I booked a trip for August, so I'm going to be sweating my little tushy off. However,
Yeah.
Hey,
it's gonna be a ghost town, and I am stoked about it.
Yeah. When are you going in August?
The second to last week. So, like, the 21st to the 25th.
Because I'm going to Disney Paris, like, the second week of August, and that would have been amazing if we were both at different Disneys on the same day.
That would have been so
Oh my
cool.
gosh, I could have been at one castle and you could have been at another castle. Amazing.
I know, it would have been amazing. And if you go, and I don't know about the Florida Big Thunder Mountain, but the California Big Thunder Mountain, the signs in the queue line, there's like a distance to landmark
that's
sign,
so
like
fun.
the wooden stakes with the thing. And it has distances to all the other towns where the other Big Thunder Mountains are in like accurate mileage.
That's really cool.
And I never, when the last time I was at Disney Paris, there were no lines because it was November and raining. So like I literally waited for nothing. You walked through the queue and sat down and went on the ride.
That's awesome.
So I didn't really get to wait for the Big Thunder ride, which will not be the case this time. So I'm curious to see if that queue also has those signs.
Oh, well.
So I'll check that out too.
I mean,
but I'm excited for you.
I won't be able to confirm about Magic Kingdom because I'm not going to Magic Kingdom. I'm going to Animal Kingdom and I'm going to Epcot. So I'm staying on Disney property for the first time. I've never stayed on Disney property.
Ooh, where are
I'm
you
so
staying?
Excited.
Ooh.
We're staying at one of the all-star resorts, which are like the cheaper ones, like the budget ones, which is fine because
I've stayed there. Which one are you staying at?
The movie one. All-Star Movie Resort.
Oh, I think I was at that one also.
Yes,
I think I was.
The least expensive one. And I'm going literally just me, and I'm meeting one of my best friends there, and it's just me and her. And that's it. And Nora is staying here. It's going to be the longest I'm ever going to be without her. Alana is staying here, and it is a girls' trip. I'm so excited. I already have my outfits picked out. I have ears on the way. I have one. All I need left, and I can be completely packed, is I have one more set of ears that I really want to get, but can't find
Which
for the
ears
price I want.
do you want to get?
I want to get the Stony Clover Lane pink embroidered ears that have like this iridescent bow. I want them so bad, but they're like $100 on Mercari, and I can't find them at the price that I want to pay for them. So that's where I'm at. But I have my outfit for Animal Kingdom planned. I have my outfit for Epcot planned. I have my rest day, chill at the resort outfit planned. I'm so excited. And I won't be going to Wizarding World. This is the first time I'm going to Orlando. I'm not doing any Wizarding World stuff. I know.
That's weird.
It's going to be weird. I feel like it's going to be weird for me because I always make it a point to go. But just the fact that we're staying on Disney property, like I was able to reserve the tickets like bundled in with the hotel. Like it was honestly like pretty cost effective doing it that way. And I don't have my season pass for Universal anymore. So I just don't feel like doing it just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, I need to go so I can, now that hopefully things are settling down, I can get back into being a season pass holder there.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, all it takes is like, if you go like 4 days, the season pass.
You make it up.
Yeah, it pays for itself.
But yeah, the Universal one is pretty cost effective.
Yeah.
The Disney one still isn't necessarily now that they have the different tiers of the Magic Keys, but, and now that you have to make reservations, and it really, that one's not as effective anymore, but the Universal one still is very, like, appropriate if you're not a resident of the state the park's in.
I know. It's really nice. It worked out for us so well when we went in January. Like, that was why we had gone in January for Nora's first birthday. We were there, like, 4 days, which already paid for the pass itself. And then the following year, we just went 1 week earlier. So we were able to use our passes again. So we really didn't have to pay for much of anything for the trip, which was great. It was just like hotel.
Yeah.
That's so great.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Like, I know it's going to be hot, and like, I don't have to worry about, like, I only have to worry about myself. Like, I don't have to worry about other people complaining about, like, oh my God, I'm so hot. I don't want to do this. I'm going to be like, I'm hot and I'm going to drink a little bit more water. I'm going to take my little portable fan that I'm going to get for myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to
And you're going to go sit on Living with the Land.
And I am going to go sit on Living with the Land over and over and over again.
Or the Yeah, and just cool down.
And just cool it down. Or I'll go and I'll, like, go talk to Crush at the Finding Nemo ride.
For like 4 times in a row. Just keep going around.
I will literally just stay inside Mexico and just stay in there. This is where I'll be. See you later. I will be in Mexico. I'll go on Tres Caballeros like 1,000 times.
Do it. Why not?
Does anyone else have any other?
Disney update.
That's my Disney update.
That's your Disney update on our Harry Potter
does
podcast.
Anyone have any other news? I mean, we talked about Wizarding World for a split second in there. Do we have any other news?
The new French books are out.
Yeah.
As of today. Today's Thursday, May 25th. We record on Thursdays, and I don't know anyone that's personally bought them, but they're already showing up in people's hands in France, and they look pretty cool.
The ones with the new covers.
I want to buy them.
Yeah.
I've got to get my books organized before I can think about bringing in new books.
Do we have
They're out today. If you search their ISBN in Amazon France, you can buy them online.
Gonna go check that out.
I was too tempted to buy them, so I stopped myself, because I'm gonna get them in France myself when I'm there.
Bow, bow, bow.
Bow, bow.
And how do they not have a box for them? That's still a gripe of mine.
I know, that's really bizarre,
like,
especially when they all come out at the same time.
I think they're gonna pull what they did with like the German 20th anniversaries, where they released them all and like a year later they're like, ha ha ha, here's a box. I'll be like, no.
That would be
mean.
That would be très horrible.
Très bien.
I'm gonna send you guys a link, and I want to make sure that this is the right one. I think it is. No, I think this is not the right set. Is it?
They're not expensive.
No.
I mean, they're the cost of a new book.
Isn't it?
So
it's new. Oh, these are the ones that are that new box set. So there's the new box set. Where are the new covers? I don't know what the ISBN is, so I don't know.
I know. They're hard to find because they're new. Like, today's the first day they've been up. So I don't think the links necessarily, or like the search engine stuff on Amazon France is going yet.
Yeah. That's good. I literally typed in Harry Potter books into Amazon France, and it's not going well trying to find us.
Yeah, I would think that would be a hard search.
Found the wrong
And a bit of sad news. We had to put my Harry Potter kitty down today.
I'm so sad.
Heard. That's sad.
I know. He was very sweet. He was a big old Maine Coon. And he was
I remember when you got him.
Yeah. He came from a shelter. He'd come out of a horrible hoarding situation, and I adopted him right after I'd had to put I had another kitty named Newt Scamander that I had to put down, who was only 4. And so we got Harry, and Harry had a very good, even if short, life.
Aww.
But he had cancer. We didn't know he was sick. We thought something may be a little wrong, but he was acting fine. So it was a bit of a surprising day today.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's no good.
So just a hard day.
Well, we can have a Dialogue Alley.
Wands up. And his name was spelled so cute. It was Hairy, and then Potter, Pawter.
It was such sad news, but I had to smile when you sent me how the name was spelled. I was like, that is the sweetest.
Yeah, because he was a giant hairy Maine Coon, and he was this little kitty who he had beautiful green eyes and kind of a weird, like, almost a lightning bolt mark, like, on the top of his head. There was just a lighter gray.
Oh, sweet.
And he had been out of a horrible hoarding situation, and my mom was like, he's kind of going to Hogwarts. And I was like, oh, that'll be his name.
I love that.
Yeah. We were torn between several other Harry Potter names, but Harry Potter won out.
I remember that when you were, like, naming him and when you got him, and... Yeah. Oh, poor baby. I'm so sorry.
So, very, very hard day.
It is hard.
Yeah. It's the worst part of pets.
Oh, I know. But... it's hard to segue out of that because
I was going to say
it's just a downer.
Good news at all.
All right, let's get your mind off of it by talking
with some good news.
Yeah.
That Carly has, which she will tell us about in our main segment of this episode.
So the big news is, I guess, well, we just covered the news, but the main segment, and my books are here, like, in my house. That's like...
Which is great, which, if this is... I think, Carly, you need to give a little bit of a recap of, like, your location, situation.
So I moved...
Just give us, like, a 1-minute background of why you did not have your books.
I moved from Texas to Salt Lake City kind of very, very quickly. So they just, like, my friend actually had to pack them up into storage for me. And they were in storage.
How many are we talking?
Huh?
How many books are we talking
like
about?
1,700. It's to be like, I'm actually a library.
Hefty.
Like, to be qualified for a library, you have to have 1,000 books. So I'm technically a library. Awesome. I know. So anyway, it was a lot, and my friend actually had to pack them up and put them into storage, and it's about 40 some odd bankers boxes of books, and they're stacked like to the ceiling, several rows deep in the book room area place. And I'm not sure that they'll all fit in there, but if I do shelving accordingly, there may be some other, like, random shelves around the place, but most of them will be in there. That's the hope.
That's
so
crazy.
Tell us the saga, because in the intro I promised an Indiana Jones-esque retrieval story of the lost books. So you were in Salt Lake
right,
City,
so it's a 24-hour drive from
Tell
Texas.
me your journey. What was the journey?
Well, it was a lot. But I've got really, I called up my friends in Dallas and San Antonio. I had 2 storage units in Dallas, 1 in San Antonio. And I called up friends and I was like, it's just me now. And I'm in a mess. I have no help to get these storage units cleaned out now. I could hire movers, but I've already got to get a lot of movers here, and I'm trying to keep my costs as down as possible. And the truck was almost $1,400 to rent, just the truck. That's not fuel, that's just the truck to rent. And it was a 16-foot U-Haul for those, or 16-foot Penske rather, for those interested. And my friends, like...
For all y'all
right,
truck people.
Were delightful. Harrison came down from Austin to San Antonio. We had dinner. We had a great time. Harrison, speaking of Indiana Jones, Harrison actually helped I have this giant dresser that weighs like 4 people. And it's just giant and ridiculous and all wood and probably still has clothes in it from when we had to move it quick out of the apartment that flooded, which is the last time I'd seen it. And so anyway... we're meeting for dinner at like 5 o'clock, and at 4:30 I'm talking to him and I was like, I have this giant dresser. I'm worried and it's just me, and I can get most of the rest of the furniture, but I'm really afraid that it's going to fall on top of me. I'm really worried about moving it, especially alone. If I get injured, I'm hosed. And Harrison was like, wait, I'll fix it. And literally, like, I'm pulling out of the place in my Penske, my large Penske truck, to go have dinner with Harrison because it's the only vehicle I have. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be there in like 10 minutes. And he's like, no. Wait right there. I've got it solved. My Lyft driver said he'd help move your truck. Said he'd help move your dresser. I tipped him and he's going to help move your dresser. So that's exactly what his Lyft driver did.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
He showed up at nice. Yeah, he showed up there. And then Harris and I went to dinner in the Penske truck.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was such, like, that's one of the highlights. And then one of my other good friends from work, she was like, oh, she got it arranged. She flew down Friday, and then we drove back on Saturday. Like, she flew down just to drive back with me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I know. We had a great time. Like, we really had a great time. The first day of the drive was a little bit more, like, it's longer. It's 12 hours that day. Second day that night we stopped at Albuquerque. Her husband works for Marriott, so we got a really nice discount at this nice Marriott hotel that had a guarded parking lot because I was worried about that.
Yeah,
we had a wonderful dinner. We had cocktails at the bar. Like, it was just a great mini vacay, kind of. We had a lot of fun. She's delightful. And then the next day, she's a big fan of Breaking Bad, and she hadn't been to New Mexico before. And she's like, can we go see the Breaking Bad house? And I was like, sure. So in this giant Penske truck, we can doodle along and find the Breaking Bad house. But it was so much fun. And then the lady who this house was apparently just bought. I don't know anything about it, but this house was just bought. And the lady, I guess, who just bought the house was sitting outside and literally recording everyone who drove by. And our house had been, like, cones up and, like, caution tape and, like, don't park here. And we're like, you bought an already famous house. Like, why are you mad? We're literally just trying to take a photo. So that was a bit strange, but it kind of fit, I guess, the Breaking Bad idea where it was already kind of an awkward show. So it was a
and
trip.
You awkwardly showed up with a truck that could have a lot of things inside of it.
We ran into a pretty wicked, like, golf ball sized hailstorm in Colorado. Nowhere to pull over, like, literally not anywhere to even get off the highway. We just had to drive through it. So that happened. Then we got to Moab. Moab, Utah, if you haven't been or seen, is glorious. Even if you're not religious, it is God's country. It is so fabulous. The Arches Parkway is there. There's so many cool rock formations, the color. And we stopped at this, like, touristy place called the Hole in the Wall. And I guess some people, like, carved out this house and were living in a house, like, in the turn of the 1900s or something. And so we did the touristy stuff. They had great little jokes, like they had a, Bigfoot this way, and then they had a giant foot, like, for a 80-foot tall person, like, just there. And you're like, ha, Bigfoot. But you could take tours. It was so pretty. It was really fun. And again, we're in the Penske, so we're trying to finagle this thing into all these weird parking lots. And then these bikers, like probably 20 bikes, parked all around the Penske truck. There were so many other parking places because I parked in the middle of nowhere to be left alone. And they parked, like, literally within inches of the truck, like, blocking us in. And we couldn't even get in the doors. And we're like, are you going to be moving soon? And they're like, huh? We're like, we're blocked in. We are leaving, and we will destroy your bikes trying to leave. Please do something about it. I'm not trying to be rude, but you blocked us in. So anyway, that, and then we stopped at this wonderful restaurant called Tamarisk in Green River, which is about 40 miles north of Moab. Highly recommend. Really good food, and it's right on Green River, which is a tributary of the Colorado River. And it's really, really full from all of the snow flooding and stuff that we've had. I think that's why it's full, or maybe rain. I don't know. It was really full. But it was really just like a great kind of road trippy day. That day was like, we really made a day of it. We wandered around and dawdled and kind of just did fun stuff along the way. Like, we're already going past these places. May as well stop. So that's what we did. And only one thing broke that I'm aware of, and it broke before I left Dallas. So it's fine. I knew about it. Like, I have this giant cabinet it's a beautiful cabinet, and it's kind of buffet cabinet, like where you put by the front door kind of thing. It's like 6 feet long, and it's very top heavy. And it had these glass doors, and like, we hit a speed bump in the U-Haul going 5 miles an hour after all of this hellacious freeway driving, and we hit the speed bump, and it just beep fell over, and we're like, the speed bump killed it. Okay. That's fair. So it was quite a trip.
What would you say, like,
I was gonna say, what would you say was the one thing that you wish you'd remembered to bring?
My sanity.
What about the keys, Carly? What about the keys?
What about the keys to your storage locker, Carly?
I forgot that part. So the whole point of me going down...
point of the story.
Yeah, the whole point of me is clearing out storage units. That's why I got the 16-foot truck. I had 3. And the biggest one, the one that cost... It was $300 a month to rent this stupid thing. And I left those keys in Salt Lake on my table. Like, are you kidding me? So $180 later, locksmith opened it.
Oh boy.
It was the quickest $180 I've ever spent.
Would have been cheaper to get a cheap hotel and have them overnight the keys to you.
The truck had to be back by a certain date.
Oh, that's
And I
right.
had movers coming on Monday at 1, and Melissa, my friend who went, had to be back by 9 o'clock Monday morning. So we all had time constraints we were operating on. It wasn't an option. Because I did think about it, and then I was like, well, maybe I can just leave it and come back later. I'm like, we're not going to rent a truck and do this again. It's now or I'm going to blow it up. It's now or never. And also half my book collection was in there, so I'd only be coming back with half the books.
Yeah, that would not be good.
No.
That'd be like Indiana Jones coming back with half the Holy Grail.
I know.
Just the Grail.
So,
or just the Holy.
It would just be the whole.
Just half of it. Like, it wouldn't even hold
Or it'd
water.
be
Like
like-
in Willy Wonka's office at the end of the movie when everything's like cut in half.
It'd be like the Oli Grok.
Like, it's the cup
or
of Christ
something,
for everlasting
awkwardly
life. And
cut
you're like,
off.
yeah, but I can't hold anything in there.
Oh boy.
Yep.
So we all know that this was not the first time that you've had to move your books. It was probably like the biggest time that you had to move your books.
The biggest move.
The biggest of moves. So what would you say was like the most helpful thing that you did in preparation for this move for people that have to move their collections? Like, I know I've had to move my collection once. It was probably, I don't know, like half the size that it is now. Eric's had to move his collection, but it was probably about half the size that it is now. So,
well, I mean, technically twice, but the first time was like 20 books.
Oh,
yeah.
So, I mean, you could have carried that in a backpack. Like, that wasn't a big deal.
So talk about that.
So as far as prep goes, I didn't get a chance to prep any of this for this move because I had to leave so quickly. So I told my friend what to do as far as like, and I took the rarest of rare books with me in the car, so they were packed up, but it was just 4 or 5 small totes of books.
Okay.
So I told my friend the banker's boxes are a great idea because books get heavy very, very, very quickly, as y'all know. And the banker's boxes limit the weight just by default because
Where
of
would one
size.
get banker's boxes?
I was literally going to say the exact same thing in the exact same way. I was going to say, where would one get some
Walmart.
banker's boxes?
Where would one? Walmart.
Walmart. I got 20.
I would think a bank, but
20
Walmart, okay.
I got 20 banker's boxes from Sam's Club for under $20. And they come with lids.
Are these the same as just those like white and red like file boxes?
They're 4 files. So they're about filing.
Oh,
like
okay. So
filing
I guess
cabinet size.
I've never heard them called banker's boxes.
You'll see on the label sometimes they're called banker's boxes.
Oh,
But
okay.
they have handles in the box itself. They have lids, so you can clear, and they're usually plain colored, so you can clearly write what's on them, which I also recommend doing, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. And they're very easy, and they're very sturdy, so they're meant to stack and hold a lot of weight, and you can stack them about like 4 or 5 high without it denting the box, unless you put it together very terribly.
Ooh.
So they're not going to crush, is the point. So,
okay.
yeah. So then I told my friend we got the banker's boxes, and I paid them back. And I just said, I put mine in spine down, or like on the cover facing up, if that makes sense.
I was just going to ask, this is probably the most boring question of the whole episode, but how would one orient the books inside
That's
the
important.
banker's
Well, you
box?
always, you have.
It is important, but it's so boring
It is,
to ask
but
that question.
It
And
matters
Carly
because
just was
you don't
going to
want
talk
cock
about it
your
anyway.
spines. You don't want to get a spine lean
Right.
because they're going to, I didn't know how long these were going to be in there. So I had to think long term potentially.
Okay, so how'd you put them in the box?
They're face up, like they're on their sides, with the covers pointing up.
Okay.
Okay.
So that way
That's probably how I would
they
do
don't
it.
develop. Yeah, they don't develop spine.
So you
lean,
open the box and there's like a book smiling at you.
basically.
Like,
I'm
hey.
like, I'm
Perfect.
here.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm very careful about
Got my moving buddy.
placement because I don't want to pack it so tightly that there's no movement, but I also don't want them to fall all over the place and fall down and get damaged. So we did some video chats and stuff as well as packing them. And then I had my friend write on the covers of the banker's boxes what books were in them. So that way I knew, oh, hey, this one has tie. This one has 20th anniversary tie box set. This one has 20th anniversary German box set, and so on.
That's awesome.
That way, like, I know where things are.
How many banker's boxes did you have to move?
At least 40.
Oh.
But some of them are Funko Pops and some of
books.
them are my shelf decorations. And, like, my Harry Potter backpacks and my Harry Potter stuff, like, other merch. that are in there, but they took up very minimal space. But then some of them, like I have a wand prop box from the first movie when they're at Ollivanders and the wand boxes are shooting out of the wall at Harry. I have one of those, and so that had to be very carefully packed because it's a screen used movie prop.
Right, because you used to do movie props.
I started off with movie props, so that one had to be very carefully packed.
We have an episode about that. Yeah.
So, and then I actually found, I don't know where they are other than they're in the house currently, but I actually refound, I have screen used deposit slip from the Ollivanders, or the Gringotts Bank rather, when Harry and Hagrid go up and they're talking to the goblins.
It's a fun find.
The first scene, so it's one of those deposit slips that's on the thing. And then I have a Knut, a galleon, and a sickle that were screen used as well.
Whoa!
And I just found
I'd
those.
like to get some of those. Not even screen used, just like ones. Mm-hmm. To get you used to be able to get them at Wizarding World.
You did. I haven't seen them for a little bit though.
I know. So
they may still have it in Diagon Alley at the Gringotts or the Money Exchange or something, but I really don't know.
Well, I'd ask Melanie to check, but she's not going there.
Jeez.
Sorry.
I'm
Disney,
just kidding, Melanie.
Disney.
Oh, I am so Team Disney. I'm so jazzed for you.
I'm excited.
You got to do the California trip now, Melanie. You have to do it.
I know. Probably in a few years. Like, we'll probably wait for Nora to be older, so like she and I can experience it for the first time together. Is my thought.
That'll be really, really, really fun.
When she turns 5, that's when you're going.
Okay.
When she's 5, because she'll be tall enough to go on almost everything.
That sounds great. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I will hook you up with the hot spots.
Yeah, you're going to tell me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what else might I need to know if I, like, for next time I have to transfer books? Because I feel like I did it completely wrong when I moved from my parents' house into this house. I was like, oh, I've got 3 totes. I'm going to put all my books in these totes. I pulled my back because I just carried them. Yeah. They were super heavy.
It was too much weight. Yeah. Make sure to get a dolly. Rent a dolly if you have to. Get a dolly. Make sure it's a heavier duty dolly. Like, I rented a furniture. Yeah, like I rented a furniture dolly for this because furniture dollies are meant to move fridges and big heavy pieces of furniture. One, I knew I had big heavy pieces of furniture that were also going, but I also know how much weight books acquire really, really fast when you're stacking boxes and boxes and boxes together.
Yeah, for sure.
We were able to move that much easier, where some of the other dollies are lighter weight. They'll handle like 50 pounds or whatever, and one box may be close to that depending on the kind of books that are in there. So you just have to really plan accordingly. But again, Banker's Box limits the weight by default because you can only put so many in there well.
I mean, that's really good
and
to
you
know.
Can fold them up. And you can fold them up and reuse everything. The lids fold back up and lay flat. The boxes themselves fold back up and like get really, really thin. So you can save them if you have a place to do that. You can save them very easily and it's not going to ruin the box.
I love that.
And you don't need tape either. Like I taped mine to reinforce, but it's not necessarily a requirement if you're just going a very short distance.
Okay, that's good to know.
Because they're all one piece. You just pop them open.
Erik is pointing to himself.
Well worth.
What's up?
Oh, I was just going to say, in lieu of dolly, I don't have nearly as many books as the two of you, but when I moved, I put them all in big suitcases, like rolly suitcases.
Oh, that's so smart.
And I wrapped them, like I put like a towel down on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like puzzly to try to figure out how to fit them in, but I did like Carly did with the boxes. So like when I opened the suitcase, the covers were smiling at me.
Right.
And there was some like empty space, but that was okay because I was literally putting them in the trunk of my car and driving them 20 minutes away. So I wasn't too worried about like them being tossed or turned.
Right.
But having the wheels on the suitcase was super helpful.
Yes.
I mean, I had stairs, so I had to do that. Like we just had 2 people carry it horizontally. But I thought that was a really smart idea because books get really heavy.
Fast.
Really heavy. So I did have a couple just regular moving boxes that I put like less valuable books in, which was fine. But my like key pieces I made sure were either like in my lap in the car or in the suitcase.
Right.
But yeah, I did it pretty easily, honestly. And what was nice about the suitcase is that as often as I could, I kept them in a stack, like as I had them on the shelf.
Right.
So,
and you just got to
like
take
when I was
them back
reshelving here at my hopefully forever home, I'd pull out like a stack of 7 books, and alphabetically by language, they would be together on the shelf. So even though I wasn't like taking them out and shelving them as I was taking out, like I would just make stacks in my basement, like, oh, these 7 go together, and I'd just try to alphabetize them in this big line in my room, which made shelving a lot easier and more enjoyable and less stressful. So, yeah,
Good
if
tip.
you're like me and you don't have a ton of books, like suitcases work really well if you have the suitcases to spare.
That's a really good idea. And if you're just doing a short move, you usually would have suitcases to spare because you can just reuse them.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't need to buy anything. I already bought enough moving boxes
Right.
for like other things. I'm like, I can try to figure out another way to do this. And if I had to, it was short enough where I could have just done a bunch of trips if I needed to. But with small children and there was a pandemic,
But you didn't
I
want to.
didn't really want to.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to. Some kind of in the same vein as if you're going to be storing your books for any length of time, I do recommend climate controlled storage. That way the books aren't outside in the elements. So if it gets really, really hot, really, really cold, you don't get bugs, stuff like that. You have to be very, very aware.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, so all of my and they're pricier, but I mean, if you're gonna invest in your book collection, like I obviously have, then you want it to be stored properly, which is climate controlled. Especially like I wasn't sure how long it was going to be before I could get them, so I didn't know what I was looking at time wise. And it like when I left to come up here, I was just in my car. So, I took a little bit of things, but I didn't have a lot of room.
My last question is going to be, what box?
A riddle.
Oh.
Okay.
Which potion should I drink?
There are 4 people in a room.
No,
with
it would be
1 candle. Okay.
Which box were you like most looking forward to opening first / did you open first?
Ooh,
Once
that's
you
a
got
great
home.
question.
So I haven't opened any yet because everything is still so chaotic, and I want to enjoy opening my
What?
books. If that makes, but I want to enjoy the experience of, and right now I can't.
All right, so which
'Cause everything
which
is
one
so-
are you looking forward to opening?
Yeah,
So,
what will be
I
the
talked
first
about
one?
it a little bit in the pre-show, but I found an unopened box of books that I bought from Jacob, unopened box of books that I bought over in the UK, and Yvonne sent me a giant box of books that I bought like 3 years ago. And I found several unopened boxes from Sean McAllister in storage. These were all in storage. So I would love to see what I bought.
Oh.
It's like Merry Christmas all over again.
I
Like
love
I
that.
probably have 100+ books that I don't know what they are, if not more. So I would love to open those boxes. They're like high priority.
Well, I can't wait to find out what's in there.
I know, because I may have completed sets that I forgot about. Like I do know.
I say it every week, but I see a lot of bonus episode topics here.
I know.
Y'all.
I
do
just want her
know.
rapid
Everyone's sick of
fire.
just me making bonus
I
episodes.
know. I hope that she does has a stack of all of the translation of the shows that we've ever done, and just does like a rapid fire
Yes.
sniff of every tots we've ever done.
And what is interesting is the smell may have changed because storage, right?
If not, I
So-
feel like that should just be a whole episode, like us just sitting back as Carly sniffs.
I'm
all these
picturing
bits.
you. I'm picturing you like with the stack, like smelling it and just like chucking it over your head and having like someone behind you like trying to catch it, and then put it like stack it.
I would
Wow.
I'm also really excited about opening up the 20th anniversary Slovak books. I've missed them tremendously. They're just happiness in a book form. So I'm super excited about those. And I actually know what box they're in. I found them when I was putting them in storage because I labeled the boxes, or my friend labeled the boxes. So I know what
Perfect.
that one is, and I can't wait to get to it. But I want to open the stuff. And I do know, actually, one of the books that's in Yvonne's box that she sent is one of the Danish books from that beautiful softcover set with the edging and the sparklies and foiling. One of those is in there, but I don't know which one. I forgot what I bought. So I'm excited.
Funny you should mention that, Carly. Because
could it be
that just so happens to be a book that we're going to be talking about in the translation of the show.
How clever was that?
Well, it's time to talk about the translation of the show. And for the second episode in a row, I don't have this book, and
I may or may not.
Me slightly. Right, Carly may or may not either. So, again, Carly, this time, unlike last week, you get to sit back alongside me from many thousand miles away, and we will just watch Melanie enjoy this book and give us a score.
Perfect.
And the book we are talking about is the Danish paperback edition of Deathly Hallows, which is very purple and very shiny and
beautiful. This is such a gorgeous set.
Melanie is doing like a Price is Right presentation right now on our video stream, and it is spectacular looking. So I can't wait to hear more about the book itself. But really quickly, Danish. We've talked about Danish before. It's a North Germanic language. It's spoken by about 6 million people, mostly in Denmark, but also there are some, I guess, countries that Danish is also spoken in that Denmark kind of has sovereignty over. I don't know the technicalities, but we've mentioned people in Greenland speak Danish alongside of the native Greenlandic languages, and also the Faroe Islands speak Danish along with Faroese. So Danish is still spoken around Denmark as well as outside of Denmark, where it is spoken in Norway, Sweden, USA, Canada, Brazil, Argentina. I feel like there's a fairly hefty population of Danish speakers. There are some here where I live. Part of my family moved here from Denmark, so there's some of that, but no one in my family speaks Danish anymore. So yeah, it's around, which is crazy because the country isn't that big, but it has a pretty big spread of language.
Isn't it supposed to be the happiest country
all over the world?
Like, isn't it considered like the happiest country in the world?
Very happy in Denmark.
Like that everyone is just so happy there.
I loved it. When I was in Denmark, I felt very happy there also. Although everyone rode their bike everywhere, which I thought was really great because that seems really healthy and like economically viable and environmentally friendly. However, everyone was also like holding a cigarette while they were biking around in Denmark.
I feel like that's counterproductive.
I also didn't think that was very healthy looking. So who knows? But no, Denmark's a lovely place. If you get the chance to go, you should. My parents are going this summer to go to a Bruce Springsteen concert in Copenhagen.
I hope they have a great time.
That's awesome.
I do too. And they're also going to Billund, which is where Lego is headquartered. And they're going to Legoland, and they're staying at the Legoland Hotel, and they're staying in the Lego Pirate room.
Wow.
It's
they're
themed as
cool.
Lego Pirate.
They are cool.
I know. They're great.
That's awesome.
They are super cool. So they're going to a lot of places. Hopefully, they're going to Helsinki twice. They fly in and out of Helsinki. So I'm hoping they can have a rendezvous with Asta, because I think she has a couple books for me still in her apartment in Helsinki. So that would be cool.
That would be awesome.
They can make that happen.
Nice.
But actually, she has a house now, not an apartment, which is exciting news also, which is not new, but I guess it's new to us. Okay, so we are going to talk about the Danish paperback Deathly Hallows, which the translator is Gyldendal. Gyldendal?
That sounded great.
Right? Maybe? Sounded
is
great.
That the
Thank
translator
you.
or the publisher?
I'm sorry, that's the publisher. That is Gyldendal. And
oh my gosh, how terrible am I?
is-
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. The publisher is Hanna Lutzen.
Translator.
Which we have a ski resort. We have a ski resort here that's called Lutzen, which is kind of
neat.
Exciting. How neat. Probably not related to Hannah Lutzen, the translator of this book. But anyway, this book is really awesome, and I'd like to tell you how we all got our books, but I don't have it, and Carly is unsure. So,
but if I did, I got it off eBay UK.
How she got.
I literally have.
Melanie,
I don't even remember.
Got
I got them from somebody, maybe from Jacob. I want to say, but I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure.
Not sure, but you know what you are sure of? The smell, which is the first category of our translation of the show scale, or TOT scale, as we call it. Mm-hmm. Which, if you're new to this, I mean, buckle up, Buttercup, because we go through a whole bunch of criteria and give them a rating based on the OWL scores from the books. And the first category is, it's not my favorite anymore now that we added the last one, but it is the smell. So, Melanie, please guide us through this Danish book.
Hold, please.
Holding for smell.
I would give it like between an acceptable and exceeds expectations.
Okay.
Yeah. I hold firm there.
Acceptable expectations?
It's pretty good. I don't know. That's about where I'm at. I feel like it's good. It's better than just acceptable, but it's not quite an exceeds expectations. So
A+,
yeah.
E-.
A+. A+
A+,
to E-.
which on our scale is not the best score.
A+ is right in the middle. That's like getting that's like a 78. You passed, but do you want your mom to see that that's what you got on your test?
No, but you're personally like, hey, that's all right. I'll take it.
You know?
I love that. I love that.
That's grade. Where it's at. That's about where it's at.
All right. How about the size and proportions?
Size and proportions, without a doubt, are an outstanding. This is a big, beefy brick of a book. It is.
I love the BDs.
It is, though. It's very tall. It is very thick. It is very it's not too wide. Like, you could still it's a good book, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like we say that all the time. Like, it's a good book, but it really is. It honestly reminds me very much of the US books in size and proportions.
Okay.
So
outstanding.
Doable.
Very good.
Outstanding. I mean,
yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh, the way that you just tilted that with the little reflection, it was like the heavens have opened up.
I mean,
and
they basically
a beam of light just exploded. That was amazing. Which we all know the beam of light was really the light in your room, but we'll pretend
that's called
it's like a heavenly beam of light.
It's like what it is to have an astigmatism.
Sure. Okay.
It's like the rays of lights that come off of light, essentially.
It's like, am I seeing halos? Yes, because you have astigmatism.
And I do see halos because I do have astigmatism.
Well, there you go, Carly. You're feeding right into this narrative.
Perfect.
Melanie, how does the book feel in your hand?
It also feels outstanding. Yay! The texture is a matte texture, not quite the buttery soft texture, but it is still super smooth. I love the logo is super glossy, so it kind of sticks as your fingers rub across it, which is really cool. I love how that feels. It is my favorite type of paperback, one that just flops open in your hands.
Yes.
It's just this is my kind of paperback. When we talked about that Spanish paperback a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
and
the Thiago da Silva one.
Yeah, and the spine was just so tight on it. How are you even supposed to read that book? This book is just asking to be read.
And it's not going to ruin the spine. It won't crease it at all.
Not at all. If only I knew Danish. But alas,
I know, right?
You're right.
This.
Hashtag goals.
I
hashtag
love
free
the way
time.
that these paperbacks are made because even book one does this. It just flops open and says "Read me." It's fabulous.
To any page without any creasing or anything. It's
without
just
any kind of fighting. It is. Aww. They planned very well. Yep, very very well.
the magic coming out of the book. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Quality. What do you think?
Quality, I would also give an outstanding. I think because of the texture of the cover, it doesn't mark up really at all. The spine does not crease. Mine has like the tiniest little dings on the top of the spine, which probably was like some like other books getting stacked on top of it is the only thing I could really think of probably happened there. But my corners are sharp. The paper material is really nice. Just love. Absolutely love.
Some of the time, like when you stack them on the shelf, like you literally put them on the shelf, like a book is supposed to go.
Yeah.
Like they get squished a little bit.
Yeah, it's like shelfware.
Like you can't.
Yeah.
It's shelfware. So I don't really like dock points from books when that happens because how else am I supposed to store this book? Like, how dare you put it on a bookshelf?
Why, Yoda?
Fool. Oh. So, like, that's happened. And especially with softcover books where, like, corners might get less sharp or just, like, they might get some scuffs on the bottom. Like, it is a book. It goes on a bookshelf. Even if I'm not reading it, like, there's still some natural just give because it's a softcover book. So, I'm glad to hear that one holds up really well, though.
It sure does. It sure does.
Well, and now you can talk about what you've been, like, rubbing in our face this entire time in your little video rectangle.
You guys can also talk about the cover art because I can show you the cover art, but...
It's amazing. It's outstanding. It's incredible. Look at that thing.
So cool. I feel like the details of it, the fact that it's the matte cover, but there are all of these gold embellishments on the front that are so sparkly and so glittery. It is just stunning. The book is the most like beautiful shade of royal purple. You guys all know how I feel about purple and gold, like the most magical color combo. And it's just contrasted by this beautiful red dragon across the front. It's just absolutely outstanding. The only thing that can make it better is if it were Half-Blood Prince, because the Half-Blood Prince version of this book is like an outstanding plus because it's like that teal color with the unicorn and
we talked about that before.
That was a translation to show because I am heavily obsessed with that book. So
beautiful book, that one. This one too.
This whole set is really amazing, but Half-Blood Prince is probably my favorite of the set. But this one close second because I love the purple.
And I love the color variation of the purple, how it's dark purple around like the upper top part of it. And then after the title, it like turns into this lighter, softer purple.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So what's the X factor?
I mean, this has the same X factor that the rest of the books in the set have, is that it is black. The pages are black. If you look at the side edge of the book, so not the spine, the anti-spine, the other side,
that's a great band name.
Anti-spine, new band name I call it.
Yeah. The anti-spine.
I like That's so cool. But it's just unbelievable, and it's so well done that like it doesn't really scuff. Like it is a solid saturated black. And it just is stunning. We have a few books that have detailed side edges. Again, you guys know how I feel about a nice gilded side edge. All of the UK anniversary house editions have that detailed side edge, which is beautiful. But there's just something about this classic black side edge that just is top notch. I mean, stunning. The spell editions are probably the coolest side edges, but these are probably second best.
This edition is stunning, and you wouldn't be disappointed if you bought any of the 7 books in this edition. They're all stunning.
I'm missing book 3 and book 5, and I want them so desperately.
Well, then we will keep an eye out for 3 and 5 of this set.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
If only my parents weren't so busy going to concerts and Lego.
Bruce. Come on, Bruce.
And actually having a vacation.
The nerve.
Can't believe it. The nerve of some. Well, I think that is all the time we have today on this episode of Dialogue Alley. So if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do so in any number of ways. We are all on Instagram. Carly at All the Pretty Books. Me at Nocturne Erik. Melanie at The Harry Potter Collection. We have some fabulous websites that are linked in our show notes if you want to click on some of those. alltheprettybooks.net, theharrypottercollection.com, and dialoguealley.com. We have a Twitter, dialogue_alley. We have a Facebook page. Melanie has a TikTok, Magically Melly. Magically Melody.
Precious.
How about that? I don't know who Magically Melly is, but maybe her account's great too.
Who knows? Maybe she's great.
We don't know. And another place that you can find our show is on MuggleNet. We are a MuggleNet family podcast. We are so jazzed to be a part of MuggleNet, and especially because they have awesome other Harry Potter podcasts that you can listen to. So if you need more Harry Potter cravings filled, go check out some of their other podcasts that they have on their website. They are fantastic. You can also find this show wherever you are listening to us right now. Or if you're not listening to us on a streaming app, we are on all of them. So Apple, Google, Spotify, Pandora, iHeart, Spreaker, Stitcher. I heard another podcast I listened to advertise Stitcher, and I'm like, whoa, we never say that one. So I'm saying it now to be cool, just like that other podcast I listened to. So now we're cool, I think.
Cool.
Officially.
I think, we've always been cool in my mind.
Yeah, mine too, I think. For sure.
I see Erik making that thinking emoji face,
Yeah, I made the thinking emoji face. If you'd like to support our podcast, you are already doing so by listening to us. Thank you so much for your support. We're really hoping that you enjoy what we do because we love talking about this and we love sharing it with other people. But if you'd like to take it a little step further, we do have a Patreon, which you can be found at patreon.com/dialoguealley. If you subscribe to any of the 3 tiers, you can get bonuses such as ad-free episodes, bonus content, access to our Discord, which is a great community of Harry Potter book lovers, which if you'd like to start a collection like we talked about on our last episode, is a great resource to have. So we have a great community going there. And like I said, if you're just listening and that's all you want to do, great. We are so glad that you're here and enjoying our content. Thank you so much. Give yourself a high five, even though it looks kind of silly to high five yourself. And do you do it in front of your body or to the left or to the right? I don't know. I've never actually done it.
It's overhead. If you don't do it
like
overhead,
Melanie.
then did you really even self five?
Well, over the head, that's very
self five.
Like the Iceland national soccer team chant, which we have now stolen here, and as Minnesota Vikings fans, we have the Skol chant. So we do that here. Hooray! Skol! Skol Vikes! Woo! My football plug.
Oh boy!
All right. And now that I have given a plug to the Minnesota Vikings, the best, most depressing team to follow in the league, yet I can't stop liking them because I am a diehard fan. It is time to walk back through the archway and into our daily lives, and we'll catch you next time on Dialogue Alley. Bye, everyone.
Bye. See ya.